Hey, what is up, Internet? Kyle here, Slapshot Toys, and welcome to the crib. So I just realized, it's been an entire year since I've done a collection update video. So I figured I might as well go ahead and do a 2020 tour video while I'm in quarantine. So let's go ahead, we're going to start the tour down in the basement. So, welcome to the man cave, bat cave. Honestly, I don't really have a name for it. There's all sorts of different things from hockey, soccer, all my figures, all my collection. But this is the main area of my collection. So we're going to go ahead and kind of just give you a quick little tour of everything that I had down here for, I guess, the 2020 edition. So the first thing we are going to start off with is going to be a little bit of a Lego collection. So these are the pieces that actually really catapulted me into collecting Lego and really following into the Star Wars line. The first thing I want to take a look at is going to be kind of the centerpiece really of my entire collection and definitely my Lego collection. And that is going to be this Batmobile from the 1989 Tim Burton movie. This thing is unreal. Something like around 5,000 pieces, a ton of detail. The architectural and just magnificence of this piece is stunning. It's almost 2 feet wide, comes on a swivel base so it will actually turn around, all sorts of different working parts. This thing is just unbelievable. We have some really cool minifigures here. There's just so many amazing things. If you are a Batman collector, and if you're looking for, especially if you're a Lego Batman collector, and you are looking for a centerpiece of your collection, I cannot recommend this piece enough. It is phenomenal. The next piece I want to show you guys is actually something my wife put together, but we display it down here since it kind of goes with the whole TV theme, and that is Central Perk. This is the Friends set that they did. This thing is amazing. Ton of characters, ton of detail. It's a really cool set if you're a fan of Friends. The next sets, again, are more Batman that really kind of catapulted me into collecting Lego. We have the Commissioner Gordon police car. We have the Batmobile from the Pursuit of Joker set. And then we have the Batwing and the Riddler helicopter. All of these super fun, super simple sets, but they really add to my Batman Lego collection. So moving over to the corner of the room, this is where I have all my horror Mezcos set up. So as you can see here, we have pretty much a eclectic mix of everything that I kind of consider horror, because some of these movies may not be in the traditional horror genre, but I really like what Mezco is doing with all of these horror characters. So here we have like the Dawn of the Dead 2-pack of the Plaid Zombie and the Flyboy Zombie. We have Ash from Evil Dead 2, probably what I would consider my top all-time 3 favorite movies, if not my favorite movie of all time. We have Jason from Friday the 13th Part 3. We have Alex from Clockwork Orange, another one of my favorite movies. I know that's probably not necessarily considered a horror movie, but it's something that I definitely kind of consider in that horror realm. We have Michael from Halloween. We have Blade, again, not traditionally horror, but me vampires, it's pretty much a horror superhero kind of mashup. And then we have Pennywise from It. All of these are amazing. I feel like Mezco has just done a wonderful job capturing just the horror aesthetic of all these characters. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the more traditional superhero kind of area of my collection. So this is pretty much a lot of my Marvel stuff. As you can see here, we have a mix of original artwork, some comics, some signed comics, some prints, obviously a ton of Hot Toys, got some Legends, got some Selects, got a lot of stuff going on right here. And taking a look at this detail first, so this minus Gladiator Hulk is more of my kind of street level, like New York City type character. So we have our tech suit from the PS4 Spider-Man video game, we have Iron Spider from Infinity War, and then we have the tech suit and homemade suit from Homecoming. And at the very bottom we obviously have Daredevil and Punisher from the Netflix series. So this is kind of my theming of this detail, is New York street level characters that aren't, have cosmic abilities and flying everywhere. They're more kind of ground level characters. And then kind of throughout here, what we have is pretty much my Spidey collection. So we have quite a few different Play Arts Kais. We have some Legends. We have the 6-inch or the 12-inch Legends. We have some Titan figures. We have some Marvel Selects. A lot of really cool stuff here. I really I don't know, I try to collect as many different suits from Spider-Man as I can. So I have like the Superior Spider-Man suit here. That's one of my all-time favorite comic runs. We have the black suit. We have the Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse movie. We have 29.9. We have Spider-Punk, Spider-Noir. Just a lot of really cool things that I found over the ages. Just really enjoy the Marvel Legends Spider characters. And then the Players Kai, Spider-Man, and Venom. Those are two of my favorite characters. I love the design work that they had with these two characters. And then kind of coming down here, we have some more Legends and Selects. So we have some villains here with Shocker, Mysterio, Doc Ock. We actually have Vulture down there. He's actually fallen down there in the back. But then we have the Select, Carnage, and Venom. These were two of the first figures I ever got. Bought them from a local comic book store, Queen City Comics, and just absolutely fell in love with kind of the whole collecting thing with these two figures. And then we have the Taskmaster Select, the Venom Select, a couple different pops. Down there we have the Green Goblin Select, another Select pop for Green Goblin. So just a lot going on. As far as artwork, I have a Daniel Warren Johnson Spider-Man they did at C2E2 a couple years ago for me. This is Spider-Man 200 signed by Stan Lee when I got to meet him a couple years ago. This is a Jeffrey Ward blank cover that he did for me for Spider-Man. Ryan Stegman, one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man artists, he did this Spider-Man for me. Love that piece at C2E2 a couple years ago. Neil Adams, even though he is a Batman artist and what I would consider the most influential Batman artist for the modern era of Batman, I still had him sign a Spider-Man print that he did. Really love that piece. And then coming over here, we have a Sean Forney Amazing Spider-Man cover, Green Goblin and Spider-Man. First ever commission I ever picked up was that Venom from Brian Level, and then I do have a photo of me and Stanley when I got to meet him at the Cincinnati Expo, I think back in 2016. All right, so now moving on to these two detops. So up here we just have some general pops and a Deadpool Marvel Select, just some random stuff that I've gotten over the years in different boxes and things like that. And then, so here in these detops, this is more my cosmic character case. We have Doctor Strange from the first Doctor Strange. We have Star-Lord from Guardians 1, and then we have the adult Groot and Rocket also from Guardians 1. Probably one of my favorite figures in this collection as far as the Marvel stuff, outside of the Spider-Man stuff, is this Groot. This guy looks amazing with the detailing that they have all throughout there, with the bark and just like the angry face. I think he looks fantastic. Really like this Doctor Strange as well. I think all the tailoring that they did on his suit looks phenomenal. And then moving over here, we kind of have our, I guess what I would consider like the super A-list Marvel characters, especially right now in the cinematic universe. I do have some kind of random Daredevil stuff up here, a couple Legends, a couple Pops. But at the Hot Toy case, so we have the Infinity War Captain America. Really cool piece. I really like this figure a lot. Love the detailing on the suit. And that face sculpt looks immaculate. Down here we have the Civil War Captain America and Winter Soldier. Again, absolutely love these figures. This was two of my first Hot Toys I actually ever picked up. And yeah, they just are awesome pieces to have in the collection. And then we have the Iron Man Mark 45. Really like that piece as well. I think it has a really nice presence here in the DTOF and just kind of rounds out the Cap and Iron Man theme here. All right, so this last little piece of my Marvel collection is actually pretty much dedicated to kind of the Avengers and the MCU quite a bit. So what we have down here is all of my Captain America selects and pops. So we have the Civil War, I think this was called like the Avenging Captain America, the classic Captain America, and the Winter Soldier movie Captain America. I don't know, I really like the selects honestly a little bit more than Legends. I feel like the bigger scale and the more detail that they put into them. I know the articulation is nowhere near as good as Legends, but I don't know, there's something very displayable, in my opinion, better with the selects than there are Legends. So I have quite a few of those. And then kind of coming over here, kind of doing like a Civil War type thing. We have all my Iron Man pops and selects. So what we have is pretty much Age of Ultron. We have the Hulkbuster pop, which I believe was a pop that was with one of the Marvel like Funko boxes that they originally did, like the Collector's Core, I think is what it was called. That was the first one they ever did. That was really cool. Have this Iron Man select, have the Civil War select, a couple random pops, got the Vision translucent, half actually Vision, that was a really cool one. And then coming down here, we just have some more selects. So we have the Ant-Man, we have the Thor, which I believe was from Dark World, and then we actually have the Matt Fraction looking Hawkeye from the comic series. I love that select. A couple of more pops just with the respective characters, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, Thor. And then come over here, we have Falcon Select, we have the Winter Soldier from Civil War Select, all the respective pops for the Avengers movies. Down here we have the Avenging Hulk from Age of Ultron, that Select. We have the pop for it, we have the Gladiator Thor pop. And then this is actually a pop, or not a pop, a Select that is actually signed by Mark Ruffalo. I won that from Midtown Comics. They used to do a podcast, and that's a really cool piece that I have. It's actually signed, it says Hulk Smash. It actually says it has Mark Ruffalo's signature on the side of it. And then the Doctor Strange Select, and then 2 Doctor Strange pops. And to finish off my Marvel collection, I do have these last 4 pieces of art. So this piece is actually an original sketch from Steve McNevin. He was the original artist on the actual Civil War comic series. I love his art, and he was at the Cincinnati Expo, and what he does is he actually doesn't take a list. You have to wait in line, and it only takes like maybe 4 or 5 sketches a day. It took me Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, trying every day. Sunday, I was finally able to get it. I waited in line for maybe 5 hours. I was there 2 hours before the con opened, got in his line, waited another 3 hours, and then I finally was able to get the sketch. I asked him to do a battle damage cap, and this turned out amazingly, just with all the blood and everything all throughout. Oh God, I love the way this thing looks. Here we have a Sean Forney Daredevil he did for me. And then this is a original page from, I believe, Deadpool and the Mercs for Money, issue 6, page 1. So this is a page that as soon as I saw it, I knew I needed to buy it because it's Deadpool and he's playing with action figures. So I thought that was the perfect page to buy. Brian Lovell was the artist on that issue, and I was able to get the original page. And now, my favorite part of my entire collection, pretty much my pride and joy in collecting, and that is my Batman collection. So kind of starting right over here. So what we have is some original artwork. This is pretty much my newest original artwork. I got all this last year at the Cincinnati Expo. This was a Batman Joker piece that I got from Stuart Sager. His work is phenomenal, and I love kind of the horror aspect that he puts onto things. So what I asked him to do was a image of Batman with kind of Joker, like kind of behind his shoulder or like inside his head. So really put like a horror theme on it. And I love the way this came out with just the chaos that it makes you see when you look at it. Half the time I see the Joker with the eyes, the nose, and then the teeth right there. Then the other half, when I look at it, I see Batman. This is one of my favorite pieces in the collection just because, like, I mean, all comic art is obviously true art, but there's something about this that you look at it in 2 different ways, you see 2 different things, and just the way it embodies chaos is phenomenal. This is a Scarecrow that a good friend of mine, Gavin Smith, did. Again, amazing artist. I just asked him for a horror character from Batman. He could do whatever he wanted, and he came out with this amazing Scarecrow. And then Jordan Gunderson, another favorite artist of mine, once again just gave him the option to do any Batman villain that you wanted. He did Killer Croc. I think that turned out amazing with all the detail and the scales. Just an awesome piece. Super happy to have it in my collection. One of the big things this year that I really started collecting was trying to collect all the Kenner Batman figures. So here I have 3 of the Batman and Robin figures that I picked up throughout the year. Really enjoying that line. I know this isn't everybody's favorite movie, but you know what? This brings me back to my childhood and buying figures along these lines. So I have the Blastwing Batman, the Hover Attack Batman, and because being a massive hockey fan, playing hockey all my life, I have the Racer Skate Robin. And to continue on with those Kenner lines, the main one that I'm really trying to collect every figure from is the Batman Returns line, because this was what every time I went to a department store when I was a kid, because I was 8 years old when this movie came out, this was my childhood in wanting every one of these figures, and now I can actually go back and get them all. So what I've been doing is anytime I find them at a show, convention, I try to buy every one that I can. So far what I've been able to obtain is the Arctic Batman, the Air Attack Batman. These are 2 of my favorites. Always wanted them as a kid. Got the Deep Dive Batman, the Laser Batman, the Penguin, and then another awesome one is the Penguin Commandos. Those things are freaking amazing. And then I have a couple of the exclusives. So I have the limited Toys R Us edition, the Polar Blast Batman, and then up here, kind of on my detox, I have the Blast Shield Batman from '89. Also, this was a Toys R Us exclusive. So the next one in the line is going to be the '89, another Toys R Us exclusive. This was the Batman Claw Climber, another deluxe edition of Batman. I really like this one because it is the kind of purplish, pinkish suit. I think that looks really cool. And then over here we have 2 more of the '89 Batman Kenner figures. We have the Tech Shield and the Wall Scaler. I am super happy to have these in my collection because these are two specific ones that I had as a kid. I had these at my grandfather's house and I would play with them all the time. So I am beyond excited to get this in my collection on card. So then coming over here, right here to the center, we have the Toy Biz Batman. So this Batman is the actual figure, is the first Batman figure I ever got. So I remember as a kid, I don't even think I was in actually kindergarten or preschool yet. I was that young. Actually at a Sunday school, one of the teachers actually got all the kids little gifts and she got me this exact figure. And the other thing I loved about this one when I bought it, it does have a Hills price tag on it. And that was the department store that my parents always took me as a kid. And that's the place that I always looked at all these Batman figures and begged for them. So I just thought that was a super nostalgic piece to have in my collection. So then coming down to this shelf right here, what we have is kind of an eclectic little mess of Batman figures, everything from DC Direct. So we have like an Arkham Knight right there. The line that I collect the most of in Batman is the Greg Capullo Designer Series. Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder's run, the New 52 run of Batman, is my favorite comic series in the Batman universe. So I want to collect all of his figures. So right here we have the 0 year, we have the Bat mech suit, we have the normal New 52 Batman, and then we have the Rebirth designed Batman, the DC collectible from that figure. And then what we have is the animated series Batman. We have a couple of the vehicles from the 89 Kenner series in box. So we have the Bat Cycle and the Joker Cycle. Got those at a show. I'm really excited to have those in box. The box is really nice. I love that it has the old Walmart price tags. Just really cool features there. Couple random pops as you can see here. And then coming down to these shelves, so here we are filling out some of the villains from the Greg Capullo line. So we have the Capullo Riddler, the Capullo Joker, the Capullo Talon. This is an Arkham Knight Professor Pig, and then the Joker from the animated series, and then I have the 8-bit to kind of go with my 8-bit Batman. And then we have some Play Arts Kai, so we have the Arkham Knight Batman, and then we have the Wild West Batman. This is one of my favorite lines. I love the reimagining of Batman and these kind of Play Art Kai figures. This is one line that I definitely want to get more into. I'd love to have the Spartan Warrior, and there's a lot of like the Samurai ones I would love to pick up as well if I can find them. Down here is a couple random Batman figures. So we have the Mattel Batman Forever Val Kilmer Batman, and then this is actually a Barbie. I think it was the Black Series, I think is what they were calling it. They did a Batman vs Superman, Batman and Superman Ken, and picked it up just on a whim. I think it looks pretty cool. And then coming over here, we have some of the Dark Knight Nolan Universe figures. So we have the Play Arts Kai, we have the, I believe that is the Mafex 2.0 Dark Knight Batman. Then another Mezco little, I forget what that line's called, but that's a little Mezco version of Pop Vinyls. And then these Hot Wheels actually came with the collector's edition set of the Blu-rays that I got for the Dark Knight trilogy. So, and now taking a look at this wall. So this is probably my favorite wall in my entire house. And this is my Batman art wall. So kind of starting over here, we have a Gavin Smith Batman with the bat signal. This was from an artist named Lee Zofer. This is the Batman Incorporated suit. Right here we have the Greg Capullo metal cover of Batman from the Dark Knight's Metal series. And it's actually signed, kind of hard to see, but it is signed by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. So I thought that was a really cool piece. Unfortunately, I will never own any Greg Capullo art because it's outrageously expensive. So this is the closest thing I'm going to come to, but I'm perfectly fine with it since it is signed from both of them. We have this Batman vs. Bane from Brian Lovell. Absolutely gorgeous piece. One of my favorites in my collection. We have this Jason Fabok signed print that he did when he was at the Cincinnati Expo. Jay Lee, one of my favorite kind of like, I don't know, darker artists. He was nice enough to do that head sketch for me. Love that. Daryl Banks did this Spawn and Batman together. This turned out amazing. Another one of my favorite pieces. I just love all the detail work there in the capes and the suits. It just looks gorgeous. All right, and then come over here. This is probably my most prized art possession. So this is a headshot from Jason Fabok. So the story kind of behind him is he, at this time, did not really do any physical media in his art. Everything was digital. And the only way you could get like an actual piece of original art from him is to see him at a show, and he had pre-done sketches. At this time, right about now, he's going, a headshot about this would probably run you about $400 or $500 easily. I was able to get this for $150. It was way before, he was blowing up at the time, but nowhere near the level he is now. and he's doing the 3 Jokers and doing all sorts of Batman things now. So I am beyond happy to have this headshot from him. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Riley Rossmo, another one of my favorite Batman artists, did the Batman Shadow crossover. He was nice enough at C2E2 to do this Batman sketch for me. And then VK Marion, he did this amazing Joker sketch for me. Really, really like this one. I hope he comes back to the Cincinnati Expo because I want to get a actual full body Batman from him to go along with this piece, and just love his art. All right, now my favorite case in my entire collection, and that is my Batman Hot Toy case with some of my grails up here at the top. So kind of just starting over here on the left, so we have the mask from the Court of Owls. This was a box set where you got the mask along with the trade paperback. My good friend Cincy was very, very kind enough to donate this, if you will, to me, since he was moving and didn't really have space for it. So it definitely has a very prominent place in my collection. And then so what we have here is just a Batman vs Superman BVS pop. We have the video game 8-bit, which I love. The NES Batman video game is one of my all-time favorite video games, so I had to have this in my collection just because it looks awesome. And it goes with the NECA 8-bit Batman, which again just looks gorgeous. I love that it just shows like that really kind of the blue-purple look of the 8-bit Batman game for the NES. Absolutely love it. We have one of my favorite figures in like the 6th scale form, and this is the Jim Lee sketch Batman. So this is supposed to mimic basically a Jim Lee sketch. So it looks like it has the pencil shadings and everything all throughout. Just a gorgeous looking figure. We have the Imposter Joker from BVS pop right there. And then the Hot Toy case and Sideshow. So we're gonna go ahead and start kind of with the movies. This is so if I actually had to pick between the two, this is my favorite of the 2 cases. And I really like the movie ones, but there's something about the comic Sideshow and the Arkham series figures from Hot Toys and Sideshow I just absolutely love. Alright, so in the movie case, what we have are the 2 Justice League Batmans. So we had the Ben Affleck normal suit, the tech suit. Both of those look gorgeous. I love this armored one. I'm a sucker for any sort of armored version of Batman. I think they look gorgeous. Next, we have the Batman vs Superman. So we have the normal suit, and then we have the armored look. This is the Sideshow exclusive black chrome edition, not the normal gray one. I like this one just a little bit better because I thought it kind of looked like the shiny, rained-on suit from the film. So I love both of these figures. Down here we have our Nolanverse kind of shelf. So we have the Batman Begins Batman, we have the Two-Face from the Dark Knight, and the Joker Robber version 2.0, also from the Dark Knight. All 3 of those figures are fantastic. And then down here we have the figure that started all of this madness. This is the Michael Keaton Batman Returns Hot Toy. This is my all-time favorite Batman movie. This is probably my favorite version of Batman and Batman Returns. And when I went to Lexington Comic Con back in, I think, 2014, I found this figure at retail price. First booth I walked into, and that started all of this nonsense. So this is the most prized possession that I have in all of my collection, just because this is my favorite Batman, my favorite Batman movie. Just everything about this figure I love. And then my wife this year for Christmas was awesome enough to get me the 66 Robin. The only thing now I need is the 66 Batman to go along with it. And then, like I said, this is my favorite case. So up here we have our Sideshow kind of comic version of the characters in 6th scale form. So what we have is the Batman, we have Catwoman, and then we have the Killing Joke Joker. All of these are gorgeous, especially if you're looking for more of a comic kind of centric look for your Batman figures. These are awesome. Coming down, we have the 2 Arkham Knight Batmen from the Arkham Knight video game. So we have the normal suit edition, and then we have the Future Knight Batman suit. Both of these look gorgeous. The exact same figure, just 2 different color combinations. This one, as much as I love the normal suit, there's just something about that black and red, and the way that red just really, metallic red just really pops off the metallic black. I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous looking piece. I cannot wait for the Batman Beyond's true suit that is coming out later this year. That is definitely one that I can't wait to have in this collection. Coming down, we have the Arkham Asylum Joker. Again, another just amazing piece. I feel like Hot Toys can do so much with these video game series figures because they don't have to work as hard to make them look like specific actors. They can just go crazy with it and just look at the 3D renderings from the games, and they just nailed the look of Mark Hamill's version of the Joker from the video games. It just, it looks so freaking cool with the blood splatter across the vest. Joker is one of my favorite villains anyway, but this is just one of my favorite portrayals of the look of the Joker. And then down here we have two of my favorite mercenaries. So we have the Arkham Knight and Deathstroke. This one's from Arkham Origins, and this one is obviously from the Arkham Knight video game. Both of these are gorgeous. Like I said, I am a sucker for any heavily armored combat kind of characters from the Batman universe. So both of these had to be in my collection. I got this one day one when it was put up for pre-order through Sideshow. This one I was actually able to find at Kokomo Toys when I went up there with the rest of the sweet spot. So it was really, really cool to be able to see this guy in person, and I had to pick him up, and he's just a gorgeous addition to my Batman Hot Toys collection. And then pretty much along with the 89 Batmobile Lego set, this is the centerpiece of my entire Batman collection, and this is the DC Collectibles premium format Batman statue. This thing is amazing. Huge shout out to Cincy in the sweet spot. I was able to grab this from Cincy when he was moving, and just huge thank you for being able to add this to my collection. I think that this just sets everything off, and it's a focal point as soon as you come down. And this thing is just absolutely gorgeous, and I treasure it. This thing is, like, I mean, I don't have words. This thing is amazing. And so the last pieces that I have down here are two Kenner vehicles. So we have the custom coupe from the Return series, and we have the Batman and Robin Batmobile. So both of these we're able to find at toy stores around the Ohio area. So super excited to have both of these in my collection as well. All right, so that does it for everything down here in the basement section. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you where the magic happens. And when I say where the magic happens, of course, I mean my home office. So as you can see here, this is where I keep the Star Wars section of my collection. And I usually work at home at least 2 days a week when it's a normal business situation. But of course, with this new quarantine, I've been working at home 5 days a week for the last 2 months. So I've been spending 90% of my time up here. So this is where I have everything Star Wars, as you can tell, but I also have all of my indie comic and Spawn collection all throughout here. So I'm gonna give you a detailed look at what all is in my office. And the first thing I'm going to start off with is going to be the Star Wars side of the collection. And right off the bat, as you guys can tell, I have the original trilogy posters. I think these were the special edition posters when they re-released them with the new added scenes in theaters. But these are the 3 original trilogy posters. Absolutely love these things. I think I found them at Hobby Lobby. Really, really cool kind of centerpiece to this whole Star Wars section. And then I have my Lego section down here, which I'll show in more detail in a second. And then I have one case full of Hot Toys over here and another DTOF filled with more Hot Toys. And the way I had this broken out is actually the evil kind of villain side versus the light side. So we have Dark, Light, Sith, and Boba, Jedi. So that's kind of how I have this broken out. We're gonna go ahead and start with the dark side, the villain case, if you will. So as you can kind of see right here, we start with the Sideshow Empire Strikes Back Vader. We have the Hot Toys Kylo Ren from The Force Awakens. Next we have the Empire Strikes Back, or actually I think this is the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett that they released like a year or 2 ago from Hot Toys. And then we have a First Order Stormtrooper. Absolutely love all these pieces. They all look phenomenal, but that is my kind of, I guess, villain side of the Hot Toys DTOS. And then on the Jedi slash Rebellion slash good guys side, we have Luke from Return of the Jedi. We have Hoth Leia and A New Hope Han. We have Rey from The Last Skywalker. And then we have the Sideshow 3CPO and R2-D2. And the next part of the collection is going to be the Lego Star Wars collection. If you guys have been watching my most recent videos, you guys know I am obsessed with this stuff. I've been trying to collect as many sets as I can and do time lapses and stuff like that. But I'll show you what I have so far all put together. Over here, the first set we have is the 20th Lego Anniversary Star Wars Boba Fett Slave 1. we have the newly released Boba Fett helmet. Really like this helmet quite a bit. We have the Rise of Skywalker Millennium Falcon. Again, this was an extremely fun build. I should have a actual time-lapse video coming up shortly of this build. Just a lot of fun, and as you can see, the scale and detail is just amazing. And then we have the Stormtrooper helmet from the helmet series, and then we have Kylo Ren's shuttle. Also, kind of throughout here, I have actually a Sensi, no joke. This Vader helmet is actually a Sensi warmer that my wife bought me, like just because she saw that Sensi was selling them. Thought it was really cool and an awesome gift. Just a really cool and unique piece. We have the Disney Store Elite Series Kylo Ren. We have the Disney Store Elite Series Stormtrooper, Elite Series Vader, and the Elite Series Boba Fett. Those are all the die-cast figures. They are 6-inch scale, and yeah, they're solid metal, so they're pretty cool. Honestly, I wish I would have left those in the box because they are so heavy. The joints are starting to wear on them, and they're starting to like really kind of topple over, and they're really kind of hard to keep posed and standing pretty nicely. So that's the only thing about that line I wish was a little bit different. And I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around since this is a little bit easier just to show you guys just a straight on view. We have a couple more Lego sets. So we have the Land Speeder from A New Hope, Luke's Land Speeder from Tatooine. We have the Snow Speeder with a speeder bike. And then we also have the Mandalorian AT-ST vehicle. That is an awesome build if you're looking for a really kind of practical Lego set that I think costs 40 bucks and just looks amazing in a display. This is one I would definitely recommend. And then here in this case, we do have some more of the Disney Store Elite Series figures. Down here, we have a little pop version of Jabba's Palace from Return of the Jedi, a couple of 3 3/4 inch speeder bikes. We have quite a few just kind of random odd and end 3 3/4 Star Wars figures. A lot of these were actually given to me by a good friend of mine. So super happy to have these in my collection. I think they look really cool, even though a ton of different movies, ton of different, I don't know, just mediums of Star Wars, but just overall just a really cool looking display. And then just again, just a big eclectic mix of a bunch of Star Wars pops there here in this shelf. And then coming over to the corner of my office. So as you guys probably know, I'm a huge comic collector. I collect everything in trade paperback. I switched over to trade paperback probably about a year and a half ago. So this is pretty much where I have my collection. So pretty much everything up here on the top 3 shelves are all indie comics. So we have stuff from like Dark Horse, we have stuff from Image, we have stuff from, I mean, pretty much Black Mask. Pretty much any of the independent publishers is what I have up in this section. And then kind of coming way down here, obviously I do have a decent amount of Marvel. Most of this is Daredevil and Spider-Man with some Star Wars Marvel comics. And then down here at the very bottom, this is entirely Batman. So these are all my Batman trades. I still have a ton of single issues that I collected over many years, all down in storage down in the basement. But pretty much recently I've only went straight to trade collecting. Honestly, I think it just displays a lot better. I mean, I just think this looks so freaking cool as opposed to just long boxes. And the other nice thing is, honestly, I reread these. I give them to friends to read. Like, there's just a lot of kind of, I don't know, just a lot more usefulness out of it. Whereas single issues, I just bag and board and then I never touch again. So I don't know, for me personally, I love trades and don't see going back to single issues at any point. And then the other thing, as you can see here, my wife and I, we are both huge fans of the Saga series. So we have every single Saga pop that was ever released. So we have all the Alanas, Amarcos, Prince Robots, the Wills, even the Chase there. And then we have every version of Lion Cats all throughout here, all the different exclusives. We do have the Isabel, we have the Alana with Baby Hazel, and then we also have the final one, which was the flocked Gus in pajamas. So the whole reason I'm into any of this kind of collecting or toys or comics or anything is because of this man right behind me. So this is my Spawn collection. So as you can see here, I have quite a few just different random pieces of McFarlane toy art of Spawn, and all these are simply amazing. Spawn, like I said, is the reason, along with Venom, that, and Todd McFarlane just in general, obviously, is the reason I was into comics, the reason I got into any of this stuff. So I try to collect as many Spawn figures as I can. I have quite a few really cool ones. Everything from, a lot of the stuff is more of the kind of retro, early 2000s, mid 2000s, and that line. I do have some of the newer color tops, much like this Commando, and then coming down here to my actual desk. So I have quite a few of them here, and then this was the first color top Spawn that they did. A couple more of the original 90s and movie figures all throughout there, and then I have the medieval Spawn and the normal Spawn from the original 1994 release. And if you're gonna ask, yes, I did back the Kickstarter. I did the 3-pack, so I'm getting the modern, classic, and the artist proof. I'm super excited about that because, like I said, Ty McFarlane is one of my all-time heroes in the comic industry. It's the whole reason I'm into comics, the whole reason I'm into figures, and so I had to back that. And the fact that they're gonna come signed by Ty McFarlane, that was just kind of pushed it over the top. I was gonna order it anyway, but as soon as I saw that one of the figures was going to be signed, and I'll actually have a Ty McFarlane autograph in my collection, I had to back it. I cannot wait until, I think they said November. Hopefully is when we start seeing those figures being shipped. So definitely be on the lookout for a video for that. But yes, I did back the Kickstarter. And then if you guys just ever wondered, this is where I spend most of my time when I'm editing videos. So just a little shot here, my office setup. So editing is the whole reason I love doing these videos. I just love working with the software and being able to kind of cut and just paste together different videos and make something cohesive. So I don't know, that's kind of the creative outlet that I love to do. I honestly don't think I'm very good on camera, and I get a little bit nervous when I'm on camera, but when I'm editing, I'm in my safe space, and I absolutely love it. So as I was editing this video, I realized I completely forgot to shoot an outro, so here it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this little tour of my 2020 collection update, and this was an absolute blast to be able to film and edit and put together. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up and a comment down below. If you guys didn't, give it a big thumbs down. And honestly, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss on any future content. And just to give you guys a quick little update, as you can see here, I've actually cleared out one of my detofs because in the first time, I think 4 or 5 years I've been collecting toys, I finally made a trade, and I traded my Hot Toys Civil War Captain America and Winter Soldier for a couple Batman pieces that I've really been wanting to get into, and yeah, super excited about it. And as you can kind of tell, my Batman collection is going to be slowly making its way here into the Marvel stuff, and eventually this is all going to be DC and Batman. So yeah, super excited about it. Kind of feel a little bit weird that I made one trade, but yeah, I thought I'd just give you guys a little update. But once again, that is going to do it for me this evening. Thank you guys so much for checking out these videos, and I'll catch you guys later.